The global market for infectious disease and oncology vaccines is rapidly expanding, projected to cross $100 billion by the early 2030s. But creating treatments to capture that market involves overcoming serious biological limits. Modern mRNA vaccines, for example, often trigger harsh physical side effects. This intense immune reaction, known clinically as reactogenicity, regularly leads to missed workdays and growing vaccine fatigue. There is also a massive logistical bottleneck. Many of these modern therapies require complex sub-zero cold chain logistics, making it incredibly difficult and expensive to distribute them globally. Despite recent medical breakthroughs, the pharmaceutical industry has hit a wall when it comes to safely and efficiently treating complex infections. That gap has created a highly lucrative vacuum for anyone who can deliver a reliable, highly tolerable technological solution. During the height of the pandemic, Novavax attempted to fill that vacuum by operating as a fully vertically integrated commercial manufacturer. They built the factories, hired the global sales force, and tried to handle every step of the vaccine rollout themselves. Maintaining that physical infrastructure created an enormous operational drag. When global demand for COVID vaccines eventually cooled, those massive fixed costs remained, heavily battering their stock price. This table shows Novavax's financial statements over the last 3 years. Notice the aggressive drop in total expenses, falling from over $1.5 billion in 2023 down to $670 million in 2025. The company systematically stripped away roughly $1 billion in overhead. They dismantled the commercial sales teams and scaled back the manufacturing plants. In their place, they adopted a low-expenditure, high-margin intellectual property licensing model. Now, their primary business is leasing out their proprietary technology to other pharmaceutical companies. Much of the current market skepticism still treats Novavax like a struggling, oversized manufacturer. What that view misses is the company's quiet transformation into a highly efficient licensing engine. The engine driving this entire pivot is a proprietary technology called the Matrix M adjuvant, combined with a recombinant protein-based nanoparticle platform. An adjuvant is simply an ingredient added to a vaccine to create a stronger immune response. Matrix M is sustainably harvested from saponin, a plant-derived compound. When injected, it biologically draws antigen-presenting cells directly into the injection site. Those cells gather the foreign material and travel to the local lymph nodes. Once there, this high concentration of antigen-presenting cells triggers a rapid, durable multiplication of specific T cells and B cells, creating high-affinity antibodies. Because this immune reaction is so potent, a manufacturer requires a significantly lower volume of the raw antigen to get the desired result. In the industry, this is called dose sparing. This mechanism solves two problems at once. It induces a highly potent immune response in the patient, while allowing the manufacturer to drastically cut their raw material usage and lower their cost of goods sold. Logistically, vaccines utilizing the Matrix M adjuvant avoid the need for complex sub-zero cold chains. They can be stored safely between 36 and 46 degrees Fahrenheit, standard refrigerator temperatures. Real-world data also points to a highly favorable tolerability profile. In clinical trials, patients receiving these adjuvanted vaccines reported roughly half the work hours lost to severe side effects compared to those receiving mRNA alternatives. Novavax is now applying this dose-sparing, highly tolerable technology to difficult bacterial targets, like C. difficile. C. diff lives in the gut and creates incredibly resilient spores that survive standard antibiotics. By designing a multivalent vaccine that targets both mucosal immunity and the spores themselves, Novavax is aiming to clear an infection that currently has no approved vaccine. They are also re-engineering Matrix M for complex oncology treatments, tweaking the particles to trigger specific CD8-positive cells to attack tumors. Concurrently, preclinical data shows the adjuvant driving robust immune responses against high-threat pathogens like the H5N1 avian influenza virus. By proving efficacy in respiratory viruses, complex human tumors, and hard-to-treat bacterial spores, Matrix M is a versatile tool. It offers other pharmaceutical companies a way to rescue failing drug candidates and save billions in sunk R&D costs. With the factory scaled back and the massive commercial overhead gone, Novavax relies entirely on external partnerships to monetize this underlying science. They let other companies shoulder the capital expenditures required to run clinical trials and manufacture the final product. When they out-license Matrix M, the deals are structured across 3 tiers of revenue: First, an immediate upfront cash payment. Second, distinct financial milestones triggered by clinical and regulatory successes. And third, long-term royalties on decades of commercial sales. This architecture is already functioning at scale. In 2024, they secured a massive partnership with Sanofi, handing over commercial responsibilities for their COVID vaccine in exchange for a $500 million upfront payment and a royalty rate in the high teens. In early 2026, they replicated that exact structure with Pfizer. This new agreement targets two distinct infectious disease indications, securing $30 million upfront, combined with up to $500 million in potential clinical and sales milestones. By embedding Matrix-M directly into the vast pipelines of established pharmaceutical giants, Novavax secures massive revenue upside while carrying near zero downstream commercial risk. These licensing deals have completely stabilized the balance sheet. Over the last few years, the company has generated $1.4 billion entirely from non-dilutive sources. That influx of cash, combined with new credit facilities and partner reimbursements, provides a secure financial runway extending well into 2028. This chart tracks their projected path to profitability. The red line represents their aggressively consolidated operations, aiming for a core research and administrative target of just $200 million. The stacked green lines represent the long-term, high-margin royalty streams arriving from Pfizer, Sanofi, and others, and those future partnerships are already in motion. Through various material transfer agreements, Novavax currently has partners actively experimenting with Matrix-M across over 30 unique medical fields, laying the groundwork for multiple future out-licensing deals. With a lean operating footprint, a scientifically proven biological moat, and multiple stacked royalty streams coming online, Novavax has quietly built the financial engine necessary to become a major